everybody, Jason here of Ghostbusters News, and I am here again before you to talk about homebrew high-C Ecto Cooler recipes. But today's feature is going to be a little bit different, as it's supposed to recreate the retro recipe of high-C Ecto Cooler. And yes, I totally just said retro recipe. For those that don't know, back in 2016 when Coca-Cola brought back high-C Ecto Cooler to store shelves in celebration of the Ghostbusters reboot, the formula, the recipe, it was tweaked just a little bit. And some fans, they noticed. They took a sip of it and they were like, you know what? This isn't the same Ecto Cooler I had when I was a little kid. While others, they drank it and they really liked it. I mean, in fact, some really loved it.
What is the salty discharge?
Yeah, I cried over high-C Ecto Cooler. I haven't forgotten about it, and that's because the internet will not let me forget about it. Anyways, moving on, over the past couple years here on the Ghostbusters News YouTube channel, we've tried out a couple of homebrew Ecto Cooler recipes, one of which was an in-house custom concoction that I'll admit tasted pretty darn good, but wasn't exactly Ecto Cooler. And another was just straight up Juicy Juice with green food coloring added. And while I do find the taste of that Juicy Juice orange tangerine pretty close to high-C Ecto Cooler, the aftertaste totally throws it off for me. Now the retro recipe that we're trying out today, it is supposed to hit all your taste buds just right. It's supposed to take you back to the late 80s, early 90s, as if you're sitting down Saturday morning, watching the real Ghostbusters, having a bowl of real Ghostbusters cereal, and taking a sip out of a high-C Ecto Cooler juice box. I mean, it's not called a time machine, but I'm gonna think of it as a time machine. Now, best yet, this recipe is crazy easy. Maybe not as easy as that Juicy Juice blend, which was just Juicy Juice, dyed green. But this recipe from the San Diego Ghostbusters is only 2 ingredients. Actually, I guess it's kind of 3 ingredients if you count that green food coloring. But those ingredients are Tampico Citrus Punch and Minute Maid Lemonade. That's it. That's all. You mix them together, you make it green, and guess what? You got yourself some Ecto Cooler. Now, before this video goes any further, I've got to send a huge thank you out to the San Diego Ghostbusters. This is their recipe, this is their baby, I'm just replicating it. As well, if you don't know, I'm all the way up here in Canada, and they don't ship Tampico Citrus Punch up to Canada. So, thank you to Brent Hollingsworth of the Arizona and Buffalo Ghostbusters for the hookup. You're a beautiful, beautiful man. Now, if you would like a history lesson on high-C Ecto Cooler, as well to find out how this retro blend actually has ties to the real Ecto Cooler, be sure to check out the link down below in the description. It's a video from the San Diego Ghostbusters. They go in great detail, but really it all comes down to flavor packets. In particular, orange tangerine flavor packets. That's what high-C Ecto Cooler used back in the day, and apparently that's what Tampico is using. In fact, I think I'm done talking. Let's go ahead and mix us up a batch, once again, of this retro recipe high-C Ecto Cooler. So as I've already mentioned several times, this recipe is so easy. All you have to do is mix 4 parts Tampico Citrus Punch with 1 part Minute Maid Lemonade. From there, add some liquid green food coloring, 4 or 5 drops should do it. Mix it around and you've got yourself high-C Ecto Cooler. And my first impressions here is, it looks like Ecto Cooler. Pouring it into a Ghostbusters 2 glass certainly helps sell that. And it smells like Ecto Cooler. I guess really there's only one thing left to do, and that's to give it a taste. And I promise not to cry this time. Okay, so in the past when I posted about this recipe on social media, people who've already tried it, if they think it, tastes like high-C Ecto Cooler, they're adamant, this tastes perfect to what it did in the late 80s and early 90s. And then you have other people who think that it just misses the mark and it doesn't taste like old school, genuine, high-C Ecto Cooler. All I can say from what I remember and what I'm tasting here, it is eerily, so close, if not perfect. It's got that citrus tangerine taste, it's got that tang, and I hope this doesn't sound weird, but it's got a thickness. Like when Coca-Cola brought back high-C Ecto Cooler in 2016, and also last year as a limited commemorative drop for Ghostbusters Afterlife, it seemed, almost watered down. It was still really tasty, it was great, and I would chug that stuff by the gallon if you re-released it, Coca-Cola. But after having a taste of this just tastes right, and it also feels right. Once again, it's got a thickness. Slimer, he's a pretty thick boy, so makes sense. So if you are a Ghostbusters fan and you are craving High C Ecto Cooler and you have access to Tampico Citrus Punch and Minute Maid Lemonade, do yourself a favor and give this retro recipe of High C Ecto Cooler a try. I don't think you're going to regret it. So I want to send a huge thank you out to the San Diego Ghostbusters once again. This is phenomenal. You did great. You did amazing. I'm in your guys' debt. As well, a big thank you goes out to Brent Hollingsworth of the Arizona and Buffalo Ghostbusters for the hookup of that Tampico Citrus Punch. Of course, though, Brent, you know that you need to send me like 5, 6, 10 more jugs of it because, yeah, I need to have this retro recipe High C Ecto Cooler stocked up in my refrigerator at all times. So Ghostbusters fans, that does it for this one. As always, be sure to subscribe to Ghostbusters News here on YouTube. Bust that bell notification icon to stay up to date with everything that's happening within the Ghostbusters world. You know what? My throat's a little dry. Can I get something to you know, kind of wet it a little bit? Oh, never mind. I got something. So much better. As always, if you'd like to join up with Ghostbusters News, be sure to check out our Patreon page. We have a link to that down below in the description, and I'll see everybody right back here next time.